What's going on? Trip Kramer here from tripadvice.com. And today I have 5 ways that you can keep a conversation more entertaining. So this can be when you're on a date. This could be when you're just talking to a woman for the first time. Maybe it's an approach, you meet her at a coffee shop, you guys are chatting, whatever it may be. You want to keep the conversation entertaining. It's got to be interesting. If she's bored, then attraction is very hard to be built in that moment. First things first, you need to be entertained. If you're not having a fun time in the interaction with the girl, how do you expect her to have a fun time? So that means if you're looking bored, if you're just like trying to find anything you can to keep the conversation going and you're just completely struggling, it's not going to be a good time. So you need to make sure that you're talking about or doing the things that are going to be fun for you to make it entertaining. So how do we actually do that on a practical level? I have found that when I've gone and approached women and I just talked about the things that I wanted to talk about and bring up whatever I wanted to bring up and have that conversation, it actually worked very well. They start to feel your energy. There's a law of state transfer where you will be able to transfer over your energy, your state to her, because this is how humans connect. So for example, if you're in a conversation and you're just talking really slow and you seem really nervous, she's gonna be uncomfortable. But if you're coming in with a lot of energy, let's say it's energy like this, maybe even over the top and it's really hyper, maybe she's gonna be like, whoa, this is really intense. Either way, the point is the energy you give off, she's gonna feel. And you're gonna be able to give off a good, solid, fun energy when you're having a fun time and when things are entertaining for you. So bring up the topics that you wanna bring up, crack the jokes that you wanna crack, and try not to take the conversation too seriously. When you're doing that, it's just gonna make it really uptight and not as fun. Next one, kind of connected to this, is talking about the things that you're passionate or interested in at the moment. Now, of course, once in a while, this could go the wrong way. If you just start talking about something and she's like, I don't care about this at all, then that's not gonna help. But if there's something that's just general that's on your mind, or maybe something that came up in the news or some sort of current event or just anything that's going on that's at the top of the mind for you, there's gonna be this energy behind that that's gonna make the conversation more interesting because you're interested in that topic and you're engaging with her on that topic. So what is top of mind for you right now? Try and bring that up in the conversation. It doesn't even have to be like a current event. It could be just something that you watched on TV. It could be something that you read. It could be an article that came up. Now, let's not make it where it's too depressing or too intense because that's just gonna bring down that conversation, right? That energy and law of state transfer. So be a little bit careful with it, but try to not have so much of a filter to prevent yourself from just talking about the things that you want to talk about, even the things that are more top of mind and interesting to you in that moment. And here's how to gauge if it's going to work, right? It's like, you don't know. Sometimes she's going to be, I don't know, maybe she could be bored by that. Maybe she could be excited by it. Just bring it up, talk about it for a little bit, whatever it is that you're interested in or anything that you're doing right now. And if you can sense from her body language that it's not really catching, switch topics. Or you'll notice that she's having a good time and you can keep that conversation on that topic going. Another way to keep a conversation entertaining is by polarization. I've talked about this at length on the channel. Polarization means you're going to one end of extreme or another end of the extreme based on an opinion, a thought, a belief on literally anything. So it could be anywhere from, connected back to what I was saying before, maybe something that you're watching on TV. Oh man, this show is the best show I've ever watched. Or you can say, oh, there's something I watched on TV, that was the worst. I just watched SNL, that was the worst episode I've ever seen. It was so boring. Taking a stance on one end or the other on any topic at all and not being in the middle is gonna bring more energy to the conversation and make it more interesting because she can either agree with you or disagree with you. And the beautiful part about it is we don't care whether she does agree or not agree with you. It's more about her having a reaction to it. That's the basis of having an entertaining conversation, is when you get a reaction out of her. The more reaction, the more we're sucking her into the conversation with you. Next, if you're talking about topics of conversation that women actually respond to, it's gonna make for a more entertaining conversation in itself. So for example, there's one topic that really hits like 98% of the time. If you talk to her, bring up anything about social dynamics or dating related or relationships, anything in that area, that is something that she will latch onto. There's a reason why back in the day, if you were to go and pick out one of the most popular women's magazines, Cosmopolitan, you would see that the cover of this magazine had headlines where about 95% of them, sometimes 100% of the headlines on that actual magazine was about dating, sex, or relationships. Why? Women enjoy talking about that. So you can bring up anything in this arena and she should be able to latch on and be interested in that topic. An example of that is asking her the worst date she's ever been on, or asking her if she has any friends that have been on a date that's really terrible lately, or what she thinks about the dating apps or hookup culture. These are just some examples. Anything under that idea she'll latch onto. By the way, if you want more of these really awesome ideas in terms of conversation topics that women really latch onto and get really excited about, there's 3 other ones, and I talk about it in a free video called Chick Crack. You can get that down below. It's 100% free. I send you the video to your email. You can watch that. It's about 10 to 15 minutes long. You'll hear me talk about this topic that I just referenced, as well as some other topics. So check that out, and then you'll be on my email list where you can get more advice and more updates. Next, bringing in emotions into the conversation. So emotions will always draw her in and allow for a more entertaining conversation over facts. So if you're just talking about facts, for example, on a date, this is where I went to school, this is what I do for work, this is how many siblings I have, or whatever questions are going on. If it's only facts, it's going to be boring. So bring in more emotion. Ask her how she feels about something. Tell her how you feel about something. I'm not saying be vulnerable and get deep into the skeletons in your closet and spilling all these emotions that you have. I'm just saying actually having some sort of emotional thought or an opinion on a topic. And again, that can come out maybe in the Chick Crack I was talking about. It can be in the jokes that you're making, asking her how she feels about something, you saying how you feel about something. Bring in anything to some emotional level. Doesn't need to be the whole time. And that's going to make it way more interesting because people engage more with emotions rather than just facts. Get Chick Crack, the free video that teaches you the topics of conversation that women love. Get that down below right now. It's going to help you out tremendously. I work with guys in my coaching program and we learn it together and we go over them. We give them more examples of how to use it. And then they use it on their dates. They use it on their approaches and they come back and they go, Trip, that worked way too well. And I said, I told you so. So get that and I'll see you on the next video.